Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rudi and thank you so much for being here. I am super excited about today's video because we are going back to our drugstore roots. I don't know if I mentioned this recently, but I used to be a drugstore only type of girl. I didn't grow up with like a ton of my own money. I've had a job since I was 16, so I was very picky about the products and the things that I bought, even though I was very passionate about makeup. I was all about dupes. I was all about finding the best things at the drugstore. And as I've gotten older, obviously, I've gotten more into higher price point brands, things like that that you see on my channel. But I know that this year, going into 2023, money is tight for a lot of people and there's a lot going on in our economy and just in general in the world. So I am going to dive back into my drugstore roots and find the best things for both of us that are absolutely worth our coin and may even be better than our high-end counterparts. So today we are doing a little try on of a bunch of new products I picked up from the drugstore recently. Some are very new, like the NYX Bear With Me Blurring Tint Foundation, the e.l.f. Corrector, and then we have some products that I've been testing for a little while, the Telescopic Lift from L'Oreal, and a few products in here that we'll probably just breeze over, but that are some of my favorites at the drugstore, like the Pixie on the Glow Blush, which I believe was just restocked, so I wanted to mention it. So we're gonna start from a primer and go all the way to our lip product. I am super excited about this video. I'm hopeful that some of these will be really good and we can add them into our everyday routine. So let's just get into it. If you are new here, as I mentioned, my name is Rudi. Thank you so much for being here. We talk about skincare, makeup, we do vlogs, we do hauls, we talk about drugstore. We kind of do it all, and I would love to have you subscribe. All right, so I wanted to tell you before we go in with our primer, I do have a little something on my face because I just filmed a quick TikTok before this. Everybody on TikTok is obsessed with this girl. Her name is Alex Earl. You probably know who she is, maybe you don't. She's just like an everyday girl. She's outstandingly beautiful. She goes to college in Miami and people are just obsessed with her Get Ready With Me's and her makeup. And she uses the Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy drops with moisturizer before she does her makeup. And everything she uses has been sold out everywhere. So I was just making a quick dupe video. If you were curious or you are an Alex Earl fan, the Indeed Labs Nano Bronze Drops are literally identical to Drunk Elephant, so just a little tip. But I do have this on if I look a little more tan than usual. I'm trying to let it settle in a little bit before we go in with our first product. And I'm really excited. I'm trying to also self-tan right now because tomorrow, which is yesterday when this video goes up, I am doing a live with Say Beauty on TikTok and I'm really excited about it. I probably have already posted about it on my community tab, so I hope that you are able to join. And one of the products I'm gonna talk about is the Glowy Super Gel in the shade Sun Glow, which is also an amazing dupe for the Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy Drop. So I'm just a little bronze right now and I'm into it, okay? I'm into it. Our first product is the Undone Beauty Serum Tint Enhancing Wand for Lit From Within Glow. I am really excited about this product, but I have to say the claims on this thing are absolutely out of control. And let me just read the back of the bottle. Why do we need a fistful of primer, concealer, highlighter, and cream shadow to get that glow? I don't know about that. We undid that with this unique Dab On Brightening Serum. So it is one of these dabbers, kind of like clindamycin if you have acne. Brightening serum with light enhancing micropigments that magically conceals, highlights, and contours. It does not do that. Let me show you what this is. I was just watching a video the other day of someone who was like, this is nothing. This is literally just water on the skin. And I have to disagree with that. I think when you figure out what it is, then you can love it. So I haven't used this on my face, but by seeing it on my hand, this is just a really, really lightweight, glowy facial primer. This is not going to contour. That's laughable. This will definitely highlight the skin, but I would say that this is meant to just give you like a nice glowy base on your face. I don't think it's gonna do anything else for you. I think it comes in 3 shades. This is brand new from them, and I really wanna love Undone Beauty. I have a lot of things I do love from them. For example, their lip plumping gloss is amazing. This is the Big Papa gloss. These are amazing. They're so good. But they use a lot of coconut oil in their products. This coconut oil is in this, so if you have issues with coconut oil and acne, keep that in mind. I don't love using coconut oil, but during the winter when my skin is a bit drier, I don't have issues with it. In the summer when I'm oily and greasy and sweating, I really try to steer clear of it. So we're just gonna dab this on the face like they wanted. This is my product. I don't know how sanitary it is considering, you know what I mean, you're putting it straight on your face, but I do want to be able to push that in with something, so I think I'm just gonna use a clean brush to make sure that it's blended properly. I guess I'm just gonna squeeze it and dab it and just glide it across the face. You see that? I mean, it's barely anything, but there is something coming out. It's just not a lot. And then I'm just gonna use this brush to like blend it in. I just think it's crazy that they would say that this is a concealer, contour, all the other stuff they said. Like, that is psychotic behavior to claim that stuff. Like, why can't brands just say, this is a super lightweight primer that is going to hydrate your skin and give it a little bit of a glow? Great, I'd be fine with that because that's what this is. And like, some people are looking for that, you know? Like, you also have to squeeze the ever-living crap out of this to get product to come out of this dabber. I would be fine with that because that's what I like. I don't need like a 4-in-1 contour, highlight, concealer, eyeshadow combo. So just keep that in mind that that's not gonna do this. And it is so sheer, I'm not even sure that having whatever shade you want, I don't think it's gonna make a big difference. So here it is on. It provides like a little bit of glow, but I mean, mostly it does nothing. I don't really know that this has added anything into my routine besides a little bit of hydration. There's no scent to this, so I'm not really smelling anything. The only thing, again, that I would worry about in here is that it has coconut oil, but it also has some good ingredients in here, hyaluronic acid, aloe, you know, some hydrators and things like that. But even still, I feel like the glow is already gone. Maybe there's a little bit of glow up here, but I would much prefer to use something like the e.l.f. Halo Glow Filter, which I'm going to use today as my highlight, over this, just because this, you tell me what it did. Pretty much nothing. It also feels like it's a little bit sticky. I don't know, let's see how it looks underneath our next product, but I don't know about it. Let me check the price on this as well. So I bought all of this, by the way, just recently on Ulta. This is $14. I got mine in shade light beige. Next up, we are trying something that you're probably like, what? You're gonna wear a matte product? But I was curious about this, and this is one of the only newer products that I saw come out recently that I feel like people were interested in. This is the NYX Bare With Me Blur Skin Tint Foundation. Also $14, and I am in the shade 4 Light Neutral. I think the shade range is okay. I mean, it's obviously good because it's NYX, but like, it doesn't go super light. So I would just go a little bit lighter than you think you might be. NYX tends to run a little bit deeper, which it is what it is. This is a matte blurring skin tint foundation. I don't know why both names are in there, but it kind of goes with this line, the Bare With Me concealer. Like, you see the colors, they're very similar. It's like, it seems to be in the same line. Bare With Me concealer serum, Bare With Me blur. So interesting, because this is actually like a hydrating lightweight, and this is like heavier and matte. So I don't really see how they match up in the same line, but whatevs. I'm gonna go ahead and use that same brush. This is the Real Techniques 200, the Expert Face Brush. And I'm just gonna use that to apply this product today. And ooh, see how it goes. I have no expectations. Might be a little light. I have no expectations for this product because I have tried to stay away from seeing what people were saying online. I'm not really a matte person, and I used to be. Something like this would be like right up my alley when I was a little bit younger, because I was convinced that I had oily skin. And I did for a long time when I was in college and high school and my early 20s, but I wasn't treating my skin correctly. I was drying it out constantly, which was in turn making it more oily. I don't go for matte products quite as much. I do think also that sometimes a full matte look can age the face, and I just prefer like a glowy look. But if I am gonna go for a matte coverage, I want it to be lightweight and I want it to be easy to blend and not sink into my pores and make my skin look crepey, because if you get older and you have that drier skin, that's what I feel like tends to happen with matte products. It's not that I don't like a matte finish, it's just typically the way matte looks on me that I don't love. So I've been blending this for a little while now. Let's get a close-up mirror and see how we feel. Oh, this looks pretty nice, you guys. For a full matte skin tint, I used, you know, just a dollop. I've pretty much used it all. This looks great. Let me see if I can zoom in any more for you. So that is that finish fully buffed in with a brush. I decided to go with a brush instead of a sponge today because I wanted to see what kind of coverage we could get out of this. And, you know, for a small dollop, I feel like it covered pretty well, especially knowing that when I was putting it on, it was obvious that my tan was different from the rest of my makeup. But I feel like it looks matte without sinking into my fine lines and making me look super flat. Matte makeup is going to make you look a little bit flat regardless. It's just the way it is. But you can always add a glow on top. So keep that in mind if you are an oily person and you feel like you need a matte foundation. You can always add in a glow, an artificial glow with a highlighter and bring a little bit of life back to your face. So don't be afraid of matte, especially if you are going to be wearing a foundation for multiple hours. So this is pretty, especially for something that's like more lightweight. Okay, let's go, NYX. It looks nice. It is a little bit harder to blend in a matte foundation. Glowy foundations spread easier. They're a little less thick. They have more sheer to them. And so you want to just make sure you're really blending this in well, because it will be obvious if you have not. It feels not super drying. Although it looks matte, it doesn't feel too dry on the face. So I think that looks beautiful. Let's move on to our e.l.f. Camo Corrector. So e.l.f. came out with 4 of these shades, I believe. This is in the shade Peach. There's also like a lighter yellow beige shade, a green and a blue, and they're for color correcting different areas on the face, all in a different area. And it says that this is full coverage satin finish, and this says counteracts dark spots for fair to medium skin, neutralizes that. I like to use a peach under my eyes because I tend to have sallowness here that pulls a little blue, so I go for this sort of shade for correcting, and this is $4. I have swatched this on the back of my hand and I loved the feel of it, so I'm really excited to try this. These are my 2 sort of go-tos for color correcting: the Pixie Brightening Peach, which is like a little bit of a brighter shade than this one from e.l.f. And then this is from the Ulta collection, and this is their brightener, and it's in a stick form. Also a little bit of a lighter shade of pink. However, I really wanted to try this and see how it works to help conceal the under eyes. And we're going to conceal with a lightweight concealer on top to see if this is really effective by using the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer Pen. I would say this is a dupe for the YSL Touche Éclat concealer, and it's like $6. So this is a great drugstore concealer. I would say it's one of my favorites, and it has a pen applicator, and I wear shade 30W, which is medium. So let's start with the brightener, and then we'll go in with that concealer. And I think I'm also going to use a brush just to really see what kind of coverage we can get out of this. I'm gonna use this Real Techniques 308 brush. This is technically an eyeshadow brush, but I say use whatever you want for whatever you want. And that's on that. And I'm gonna start by just dotting it under the eye and build from there to see if we can get a little more coverage. Although this color is a little dark for me, I think that the color theory of it all will work, and if you have a little bit of a darker skin tone, this will be perfect for those dark spots. If you have like a 5 o'clock shadow that you want to cover, or if you have discoloration or hair growth or anything like that, I think this will do such a good job for you. You can tell that it is a little bit dark for me, this shade, but it has already made a little bit of a difference in this under eye color. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more. I don't wanna use too much because it is, again, like a shade too dark for my skin tone, and I don't wanna add more sallowness to the under eye by going overboard. But you could also, if you are fair, use the lightest shade in this corrector concealer line to help with color discoloration as well. You can see the difference here. This is with and this is without. I feel like it does do something. I think this would be great if you are mid-toned medium shade Typically, I think you will love this. I've seen a lot of like Indian skin tones using this shade, and I think that it has worked so well for especially men who want to cover their 5 o'clock shadow or anything like that. This sort of shade is gonna work really beautifully, and I do think that it is slightly too dark for me, which might actually work against me, but that's okay. I just wanted to try it. And if you are someone that is my shade and you're looking for a corrector, try one of the two that I sent, that I talked about earlier, because I feel like this one is just slightly too dark for me. You see that? It's giving a little bit too much of a peach, dark peach undertone for me, but these two are the same undertone in terms of peachiness, just a little bit lighter and work a little bit better for light to light medium skin tones. So love that they have this option. I don't know that it's great for my skin tone exactly, but I think the formula is really beautiful. I want something that's a little bit more mattifying and thin so that when you layer, it doesn't look crazy under there. And then I'm just gonna quickly put on a little bit of this concealer under my eyes, and then we will move on to some of our other new items. Okay, well that's funny because I literally just finished this and I have a backup luckily, so I'm gonna pull that out for next time, but okay, empties, little empties. This is how that looks with the concealer on as well. So we have on the e.l.f. and the NYX for our coverage with a little bit of the corrector under the eyes. I'm looking super duper matte, which is not my vibe. So what I'm gonna do to add a little bit of life back into my face is go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow. This is not new, but it is new at Ulta. So if you are looking for a glowy base product that is going to give you the tiniest bit of coverage that you can use literally all over your face, that looks exactly like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, grab it. It's amazing, it's beautiful, it is an exact dupe. I think the colors and the shades are a little bit different, but like I already have a little bit of life back into my face, which adds dimension and makes you look like a person. Sometimes when you go full matte, it can just make you look washed out. So I love to have a little bit of that sheen back into my life. And I actually prefer to use this before I go in with a blush, because this is so liquidy that sometimes when you put it on after a blush, it can pick up and move around your product a little bit. So when you have a super liquidy highlight, it just blends in a little bit nicer when you do it before you go in with your color cosmetics. And you can always add more, right? You can always add more. I don't have any new bronzers or a new blush from the drugstore, so I am gonna use my Revlon Skin Lights. Hashtag support Revlon because they are going through it right now. I love this bronzer. It is absolutely stunning. So I'm just gonna pop this on the face, and then I'm going to use the Pixi On The Glow blushes to bring a little bit of life back into my face, and we'll talk a little bit about those because I actually just had a reel go viral while using that product, and it's just funny to me how products come and go out of the viral spotlight. Like those were viral for like 5 minutes on TikTok. I'm doing a little Shop My Stash series on TikTok and Instagram. If you're not following me on those, it's at Rudi Berry on TikTok and at the Rudi Berry on Instagram. And I'm just kind of going through my products that were once viral for 5 minutes and showing everyone why you should still pull them out. So I actually did one on the e.l.f. and one on the Pixi blushes because these are both really beautiful and inexpensive, and they were only popular for 5 minutes. So just keep that in mind. Oh, one thing I also forgot to mention is I do have the new e.l.f. Woe Glow SPF, but I'm gonna use this in another video because today when I started, I already had on an SPF and the Deep Bronzy, and I wanted to use this. So I just needed a little bit of time to test this out. So I will keep you updated on this. I did buy this and I might just do a short or something on it or talk about new skincare. So don't worry, that is coming. I feel like I have bronzed enough. And then with this Pixi On The Glow, you can apply it directly to your face. I did that in that video if you want that really aesthetic looking, you know, swipe. But you can also just go on a brush and apply it to your brush and apply it like that. Works just as well. You don't have to swipe it on the face like a deodorant stick. You can. And also I did want to mention that Pixi also has these in a bronzer formula that have a little bit of shimmer to them. So their blushes are more of just like a natural finish. They're a little bit, you know, dewy because they have that cream finish to them, but there's no sparkle or anything in them. So the bronzers do have a little bit of that, just keep that in mind, but they are very nice. And this red is in the shade Ruby, and it is my favorite shade of all of them. So I just swipe that on and you can see how my highlighter really melted in with that up here. And if I were to apply this on top, I might take away some of that blush color, which is not what I want to do. So I just love to blend those two together. They look absolutely beautiful. All right, so our next couple things are going to be mascara, eyebrows, lips, then we'll wrap things up. So I have two new Drugstore mascaras that I have reviewed on this channel on my shorts. Let me zoom you out a little bit. On my shorts and just in general, I've also talked about this one before. And then this is the newest one. This is the Milani Highly Rated Lash Extensions Tubing Mascara. This is the Telescopic Lift from L'Oreal. This is a traditional tubing mascara and this is a washable mascara, which I'm pretty sure they use the same polymer to make sure that there's no flaking or smudging, and it washes off with just water, this one, whereas this one washes off in tubes. And because I've already used this in a video and shown you what it looks like on, which was my most recent Get Ready With Me, I will use the Milani one to show you this new tubing mascara. And I will be honest with you, I am not a huge fan, unfortunately. It is just, from what, I don't even know if it's the formula or if it's the brush, but I think it is the brush. This is the wand on the Milani, and it is a synthetic wand that is really, like, the bristles are incredibly short and a little bit wider than I like to go for, which makes your lashes clump together. And the formula is very wet, which makes your lashes super wet and clumped together. So to compare it to what I think they were trying to like draw your eye to was the Thrive Market or Thrive Cosmetics tubing mascara. Let's look at these wands side by side and you'll see, like, I think they were literally just trying to copy this mascara because this is like a cult favorite tubing mascara. Okay, wow, looking at them like this, I'm like, wow. The one on, this one over here is the Milani, and this one on the right, my right, your left probably, is the Thrive. So they're pretty much identical. And I don't really like the Thrive one because of the wand. So I guess it makes sense. You guys know I just prefer a natural bristle wand. So I'm gonna put this on for you so you can see what it looks like. I have not curled my lashes. I am going to get a lash lift soon because mama needs one. But you can already see it clumping them together and adding like way too much product into the lash because there's nothing in here to keep them from clumping. There's nothing to separate them because the wand is basically just like this big flat tube that doesn't have any bristles to get in there. It's just like adding a lot of wetness and chunkiness to the lashes. So the more that you go through it, the more they clump together. I already got some all over my face. You see that? It's just very disappointing. I do not like the look of this at all. I much prefer a super fluttery lash, and it's disappointing and it makes me sad because I love Milani, but I really, really don't like this and I just never gravitate towards it. And I've only had it for a couple weeks, but I really, really wanted to like it. I really like the new L'Oreal one that I just was talking about. Also has a synthetic wand. It is so nice. It really separates and it has a real funky little wand to really break things up. I have mascara all over my face. You see that? It's all over my eyes as well. And now I have to wait for these to dry up before I can flick them off. That stinks. While I'm waiting for that, I'm just gonna put on my new NYX The Brow Glue. I also talked about that in my most recent Get Ready With Me, but this is their new The Brow Glue, and it is in their tinted shades. I love this product. A lot of people don't. A lot of people really don't like it and think that it is too gluey and like makes their eyebrows look like a mess. I personally like it because I think that it holds your eyebrows in place without leaving them looking like they're stuck to your face, which I am not a person who likes to laminate my eyebrows to my face, but I like them to look super fluffy and I want them to hold where I tell them to hold. And I think that this does this, and it gives you some like playtime with it before it completely dries down. And if you know me, you know I actually like and prefer a crispy eyebrow, because to me that means it ain't moving, and who's coming up to me and touching my eyebrows anyways? Like, crisp it up, baby. So I'm not saying that these leave crispy eyebrows, but it's called a brow glue for a reason. So I'm gonna slap this one on. So we are about rounding out here with lips, and I'm very excited about these lips, and then we'll talk about sort of final thoughts and what you should get and what you shouldn't. The main thing for this is going to be this new CoverGirl gloss. I can't tell you the last time I bought something from CoverGirl. I literally could not tell you the last time I bought something from CoverGirl. This is the Clean Fresh Yummy gloss. I saw this on TikTok, immediately purchased it because it looks like my favorite kind of lip oils, and it has a really cool giant ass doe foot. And I love this color. This is in the shade Acai You Later, and it's like this really nice, you know, pinky berry shade, very sheer, and they smell like Fruity Pebbles cereal water. Like, I am not kidding. I don't know how they bottled Fruity Pebbles cereal water into a lip gloss, but they did. If they would have called this a lip oil, I feel like it would have sold out, but they called it a lip gloss, and that's fine. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of liner to start off the look. This is the NYX liner in the shade Nutmeg. The reason that I purchased this recently is because it is a dupe for my favorite liner from Makeup Forever in Versatile Chestnut, which is discontinued, which is literally insane to me because it is the most beautiful liner I've ever had. So I'll do a little swatch next to each other so you can see if you are interested in Versatile Chestnut, this will give you a similar look. So this one is Versatile Chestnut, and this one is NYX in Nutmeg. So the Nutmeg is a little bit warmer. It's got more of a brown undertone, but on the lips, it's not so different, and obviously this is much cheaper. So I'm just gonna put this on and then we'll go in with the gloss. There is the liner on its own, super pretty, love it. And now we're going in with this gloss. I love this doe foot. It's like actually something unique. I've never seen this doe foot applicator before. Oh my God, it smells so good. I like the doe foot because it's skinny on the top, so you could like go around your lips like this and get the lines, but it's also very fat on the sides for the center of your lip. That's really pretty and super comfortable. It doesn't add too much color to the lips, so keep that in mind. It is going to be very lightweight and neutral, and even though it looks dark in the tube, it comes out very sheer, which is super pretty. And I actually think this would be so pretty over like the Benetint. I might have to try that later because I feel like it would be stunning. And here is the finished look using all of our drugstore products, A lot of new drugstore products. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, who is she? She looks matte. But I will say my skin underneath looks absolutely flawless. So let's talk a little bit about what I think is worth it and what's not here on this list. Okay, I think the things that you should absolutely pick up from this list here of just the new items, if I had to narrow it down, it would be these two. This blurring skin tint from NYX is absolutely stunning. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm not a mattified person, so keep that in mind. Like, I think this is great. I love this gloss. I think it's beautiful. It's really comfortable on the lips. It doesn't feel sticky at all. Has a lot of products, smells great, awesome applicator, good color options as well. I'm like so proud of CoverGirl. And then for skipping, I'm gonna have to say the Undone and the Milani. This did literally nothing. And I would want this to work under something like this, right? Like if I wanted a more like satin finish, you would want a glowy primer underneath and then a matte coverage on top to give you a little bit of that satin finish. This did nothing. And the fact that it claims that it conceals all of that in one is literally absurd, but no. And then this mascara, it just doesn't do what I prefer. If you like the spidery like look to your lashes, I think you would like this. It does last. I will say, like, I did test it as a tubing mascara and it does last on the face, but it's not for me. It's not my favorite. I would much rather go with this telescopic lift, which is around the same price. Everything else is things I've talked about before. The two things that I feel like are kind of in the middle for me right now in terms of newness. I liked this corrector. I don't know if it's necessary. I think the other colors for more severe discoloration on the face probably is better for someone else to test. And then I do like this NYX the Brow Glue in the tinted shade. It's not as good as some of my other higher end, you know, eyebrow gels. My favorite is from Kosas. Sometimes it's nice to just pay that price and have something you know you're gonna love, but I still really like this and I have been using it and enjoying it. So that is the tea for today. Let me know what questions you have down below on any of these products, or if you want me to try something from the drugstore. I just saw that Flower Beauty is coming out with a few new things that I want to test, including a new contour stick and some lip products. And then of course I will be talking about some newer other stuff as well. I'm thinking about bringing the buy or buy back to my channel, which is where I talk about new launches. So let me know if you're interested in that. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video very soon. Bye.